And we continue with our reaction. UDM leader Bantu Holomisa joins us now for this conversation. So Holomisa, you're speaking here. I think the last time that President Cyril Ramaphosa had a conversation to deliberate to the public of South Africa, you criticized him, saying that, look, it appears as though he came out because he was under siege. Now, looking at the fact that he's indeed moved the country to level 3 lockdown, what you have said that actually he needs to lift this lockdown in itself. Are you happy? Are you satisfied with what was articulated earlier this evening?
The president's speech will require that people, in particular the business, labor, and the public in general, should be more responsible and disciplined. So he is actually giving us this breathing space, but at the same time he's saying, don't blame me. You are responsible for your health. So we welcome the statement, therefore, by the president. Let us hope that the relevant ministries would produce regulations which talks to the plan which has been outlined by the president. He has also assured the families, the parents and the children and teachers that nobody is going to be forced on this phase of going back to school. So at least his plan, the way I see it, is got a flexibility outlook.
Now, with that, you're saying that his plan has got a flexibility outlook, but on the other side of it is that issue of whether or not he buckled under the pressure of opposition and the pressure of the public discourse. I mean, saying that it is up to you now to decide what you do with your own life. One may suggest that he's done all he had to do, and now it looks as though the pressure was too hot and the citizens must now decide their fate.
You must remember that we are being led here by politicians and by a political party which is in power. So they have to be sensitive to the people they are leading. So it's good that he had listened, he has seen the analysts in the media, he has had consultations with the people, and they've raised these issues that he's moving like a tortoise. He has to be decisive. And I don't think we can blame him for today's speech. So the onus now is on his ministers to come up with a flexible plan which is in line with what he told us today.
Could this backfire now, Mr. Holomisa? And we're speaking at the back of the fact that if indeed, and which will be happening from the 1st of June, more economic activity happens, which means that further sectors of industry are opened. It also means that there's more, contact between people, even though we're supposed to adhere to social distancing, but people now will be more crowded in certain areas. If we see, for example, a significant spike, which he spoke about earlier this evening, a significant spike in the rate of infections, will we not be the very same public that comes back to him and say, government is not doing enough to protect its citizens, and still now go on a rampage as a result of that? So, it's one thing to listen to the public, but if the very same public go back to the president and say, President, we're not feeling safe as a result of an increase in infections, then it's a lose on one side and a lose on the other.
Well, you must also remember that when you are a leader, you take risks. So, but fortunately, on his part, he has already covered that by saying that in the event that people don't behave or listen, or that the infection is rising, some of those areas, those affected areas, might even go to stage 5. So he has answered your question already.
Very true. Bantu Holomisa, the UDM leader, speaking to us about his reaction.